What's up, guys? This is Mr. Portman. We just looked in the last video at how to graph a linear equation given a table, and now we are going to graph a linear equation using a table in which the slope is a fraction. Okay, and I know you think it's going to be all kinds of hard. I'm going to show you a shortcut. It's really not as bad as you think it is. All right, let's get going. We are going to start off. The directions are the same. Complete the table for the values of y given each value of x in order to graph each equation. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's put in our equation right here. And let's say y equals, and we need to get our fraction symbol here. Let's take an easy fraction. Let's just do 1/2 for right now. So we're going to do y equals 1/2 x, and let's do -4, okay? So there is our equation, y equals 1/2 x minus 4, and I'm going to copy this if I can, and I'm going to put it right here. All right, now, guys, most of the time, there will not be even a table provided to you. You've got to provide your own table. Like we said in the last video, if the x values aren't given to you, you just pick your own x values, all right? So a lot of kids don't know where to start. They just, it just says graph, and you're like, okay, I know I'm supposed to use a table, but where's the table, or where are the numbers that go in the table? Remember, sometimes the numbers aren't going to be given to you. Sometimes the table won't even be given to you. You got to do that on your own. Start by drawing the table, and then putting in numbers that you think are easy, all right, that will actually fit on this graph. So in for x, what did I just do there? In for x, we are going to put our values of x that we're going to come up with. So let's figure out what values of x we could come up with that would make our lives the easiest. Our slope is 1/2. Could we pick 5 for x? Absolutely we could. Will we get the right answer if we did our math right? Yes, but let's not make it harder on our life than we need to be. Let's put in numbers for x that don't give us a fraction or that don't give us a decimal. If you're multiplying by 1/2, that's the same thing as dividing by 2. Since 1 is in the top, 1 is in the numerator, it's the same thing as taking that number and dividing it by 2. Guys, what's half of anything? You just, half of x, you're going to take half of that number. So let's pick multiples of what's in the denominator. If that was not 1/9, if that was not 1/2, it said 1/9, you would put multiples of 9 in here for x, because it's going to make your life a whole lot easier, because you're going to get a whole number, all right? Let's pick the easiest negative numbers we could figure out, 0, and the easiest positive numbers we can. I think the two easiest negative numbers would be -4 and -2, and they're also multiples of 2. So you don't have to go by ones here. You don't have to go by anything. You pick whatever numbers you want to, all right? The next one, we're going to have 0. So this table is going up, the x values at least, they're going up by 2 each time, all right? And we're going to figure out what our value of y is given our x's that we have. All right, you with me? All right, stay with me. That's where that goes. Okay, so what is the first number we're putting in for x? We're going to be putting in that -4. So we're going to put a -4 in for x. All right, so we're going to be figuring out what is half of -4. Okay, well, what is half of 4? Half of 4 is 2. So half of -4 would give you equals. Yeah, equals. Half of 4 would give you -2. So you'd say -2, and then we're going to bring down that -4, all right? Or subtract 4, whatever way you want to look at it. It's the same thing, all right? So we have -2 minus 4, and that is not 2, that is not 6, that is -6, all right? So you have just a couple steps here, all right? You plug in the numbers starting that are multiples of what's in the denominator, and you multiply it out, all right? And that's going to give you your first y value. It's going to be -6, all right? Now let's see if we can start finding a pattern here when we get our next y value, all right? So the next y value we're going to put in, or excuse me, the next x value we're going to put in to solve for y is going to be this -2 right here, all right? I think I misspoke earlier. Deal with it. We have -2 right there, all right? So again, what's half of 2? I've got two fingers holding up. Hold on. Half of 2. Yeah, that's 1. All right. So half of negative 2 is going to be negative 1. All right. So we're going to put a negative 1 in there. Negative 1 minus 4 is going to give you negative 5. If you're not getting these right, get out a calculator. All right. And you're going to know it pretty quickly if you didn't get something right, because your line is not going to be straight. It's going to look all kinds of bobo. And don't give that to your teacher. All right, that makes your hair turn gray. Don't give me some sort of line that starts off going like this and then all of a sudden it starts going all kinds of crazy. Your line is going to be straight because it's a linear equation. That means it has a constant rate of change. All right, if you give me some bobo looking line, we know that you don't know what you're talking about. All right, the next number we're going to put in is 0. And guys, half of 0 is 0, and 0 minus 4 is negative 4. All right, so as y'all can see, there is a pattern in the y's going here. Since the x's are skipping a number each time and the y's are going up by 1, we're going to figure out, well, what's halfway in between negative 6 and negative 5? It would be, that's how we're getting our answer. All right, so if we picked negative 3 right here, you would get negative 5.5, which would be a fraction. All right, and you could, which is a decimal, and you could turn it into a fraction, which you could do. It's just not the easiest. All right, so we're going to put now 2 in for x to get our y value. Half of 2 is 1, half of 2 is 1, and then 1 minus 4. We're going right here. 1 minus 4. That's going to give us negative 3. Negative 3. Okay, so your next order is negative 3. And as you can see, this is going to be, if you just look at the pattern, that would give you negative 2. So I already have a point down here. We're going to start plotting these points. Negative 4, negative 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have negative 6. So before we put our next point on there, let's look at our graph, or let's look at our equation right here. All right, now see where we're talking about? We see the rate of change is 1/2. All right, and we know that the bigger that number is, the steeper the line is going to be. 1/2 is not a big number, so we know it's not going to be steep. All right. We also see that it's positive, so it's going to be increasing somehow. It's going to be going, as you go from left to right, it's going to be getting larger, all right? We also see that the y-intercept is negative 4, so this line is going to be crossing at negative 4. Using all that information, you could graph this thing already, and that's how we're going to do it next. But you need to understand how to do the table method because of the logic that is involved, all right? So we're going to take this and copy and paste it. We're going to put, oh, what is that? Okay, go away. Okay, we are going to take this and we are going to put him, this is at negative 2, negative 5, so it's going to go right there. And the next one is going to be at 0, negative 4, like we said. It's going to be right there. Whoa. That should be there. This one should be right there. Okay. All right, so here was our first point that we plotted. Let's copy that guy and let's see if we can paste him right here. All right, so we got him, and we're going to be going to negative 2, negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is going to be right there. Okay. We are going to take the next one, and I believe we already said it's going to be at 0, 4. It's going to be like that. And as you can see these points, you're going, starting at this point, look at the slope here is 1/2. You're going rise over run, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. From there, we're going to go up 1 over 2. So I bet you it goes right there. And let's see our ordered pair. That's 2, negative 3. And that's what our ordered pair is right here. And the next one we have is 4, negative 2. So we are going to put our point at 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 2. Okay, so there are all of our points, and we are going to now put a line through them. And you don't want to put some little dinky line, or like you don't want to put a segment. All right, you want to put a line that goes all the way through your graph. All right, showing your teacher you know what you're talking about, that it's every point on that line is a solution to that equation. All right, fraction or not. And let's change this a little bit darker. Okay, so there is your graph. It's going all the way through. and we used a fraction there. So let's say, for the sake of time, we're going to, instead of a 2 right there, let's put a 5. And then up here, we're going to get a 2. Okay, and I'm going to take away this -4, so we have a y-intercept of 0. All right, again, we can pick any numbers we want to for x. We're going to pick factors of what's in the denominator. So let's pick -5, 0, and 5. Guys, we're going to make our lives very easy. We're going to pick these 3 numbers right here, and all you need is 3 numbers in order to make a line. All right, you only need 2 points to make a line. So we have 3 ordered pairs. The more points you have, the more the straighter your line is going to be if you're not using software like I am today. All right. So we have y equals 2/5 x, and we are going to put in for our x. Guys, I appreciate y'all being with us here today. It means a lot. It means a lot. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Love all you. We're going to put in for x right here, we're going to put in -5. All right. Anytime we're putting a number in for a variable, we want to use parentheses, and we're going to multiply this. All right. So you're going to do -5 times 2/5. What I would recommend doing is doing -5 times 2. Multiply the numbers that are in the numerator, and then multiply the numbers that are in the denominator. All right. Excuse me. Back it up. What we're going to do is we're going to multiply our whole number by the numerator. And once we get that product, we're going to divide it by the denominator. Like this times this divided by this. All right, because that's like saying -5 over 1. If you were to be multiplying these, you'd multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and then you'd simplify it. Since the denominator for -5 is 1, no need for that. All right, so we're going to have y equals -5 times 2 would give me -10, and -10 divided by 5. If you put 2, your answer's wrong. We're going to put -2. All right, so this is going to be -2. Did y'all see how we got that? We're going to put -5 times 2, which is -10, -10 divided by 5, which would give us -2. All right, so our next value of x that we're going to put in there is 0. Hey, look at there, 0, 0. 2/5 times 0 is 0. Anything times 0 is going to be 0. We don't have a y-intercept. Well, so that means it's going to be going at 0. We do have a y-intercept. It's just crossing at 0. And now we're putting 5 in there. Guys, if 2/5 times -5 is -2, then 2/5 times +5 is going to give us +2. And there you have it. We've got our ordered pairs. So that's not what I wanted to do. So I need a point. So I'm going to come up here to shapes. And if you're still watching right now, I'm very impressed. You are on your way. All right, -5, -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -2. Then we've got a point at 0, 0. And then we have a point at +5, +2. And guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just because the rate of change is a fraction does not mean that it's necessarily going to give you a very small number or not a very steep line. You could have a fraction that's 41 over 3. All right, that's, simplified all the way. You leave it like that. But that's not a small number. All right, it's not every fraction is a small number. Some kids get carried away with that, or some kids don't understand the logic there. All right, so not every time you get a fraction right here is it going to be a small number or not very steep. But this is what that graph would look like. All right, you're going up 2 over 5 each time, up 2 over 5. I hope this helped. Check out the website. Let's see if I can do it here. Making Sense Tutoring.com, and that should wrap it all up. Have a great night. Bye.